is Thursday, and hey, they may not be a Texas game, but it's always Prize Picks. Play $5, get $50 instantly. It's Christmas time. You should do something special for yourself. Sign up for Prize Picks. Use that promo code Orange Bloods. Play $5, get $50 instantly. Listen, man, next week we're going to have Texas versus Clemson. We finally have gotten past a lot of the craziness of recruiting, the CFP, and then we're starting to start getting back into football mode. Jason, I'll start with you. I'm not going to ask you your catch. Where's your head at a week and a half before the game, blah, blah, blah. But as we start zeroing in on Texas versus Clemson, you have any prevailing thoughts that are kind of rolling around in your mind?
Not really. It's not a very exciting answer, I know.
Great show, guys. You guys enjoy.
See you later. Then that's it for today. I've been kind of obviously recruiting last week all the way up until Friday. The portal opened on Monday, so I've been kind of focused on that. I haven't started really breaking down this game or anything. We'll do our predictions next week, of course. And I'll have my matchups and all that stuff. But, I think this is a game. I think we said it yesterday or something. I can't even keep up. But, Texas, I'm going to pick Texas to win. I'm assuming we probably all will, right? But, Clemson's capable of beating Texas if Texas doesn't play well. I thought someone said Sam Acho picked Clemson to beat Texas. I think Sam picked Clemson to go all the way to the championship game. I don't agree with that. But, listen, if you want
to win?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't remember, but he picked him.
Yeah, he picked him to be the national champion.
Did he really? Oh, wow. Okay. That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But if you want to make a case, and nobody's going to do it, I know, but if you want to make a case that, hey, Clemson can win this game in Austin, I'll be like, okay, I can see it. Is Clemson a better team than, Kentucky? Not that Kentucky played Texas close, but yeah, are they a better team than Arkansas? Yeah, probably so. This Texas offense needs to kind of recollect itself and cut down on some of these mistakes and operate more efficiently. So, I'm going to pick Texas to win on more over Clemson, but I think the spread what, 10.5, guys? Or 10?
Alex, that's usually your
I think it was at 11. Yeah, 10.5, 11.
Yeah,
it keeps going down, right?
Yeah, I think it opened at like 2 touchdowns. So, I would almost favor Clemson to cover the spread. I think Texas gets the win, but I'm just, this Texas offense has me a little bit on edge about making any bold predictions about Texas blowing the doors open or anything.
What about you, Alex?
I think Texas is going to whoop. I think Texas is going to whoop Clemson, man. I think that it's. I don't think Clemson's very good. It's like before the SMU game, find me a good win on their whole season. Find me one. Find me one impressive win, and they lost. They lost to.
Couldn't the same be said about Texas?
I think Texas, Arkansas said that.
Arkansas, they beat A&M, dude. They don't have a win over anybody with more than like 6 wins, dude.
A&M's not a good team. You're telling me that was a good win? Come on, man.
It's a better win than any of these idiots. It's better win than App State, NC State, Stanford, Florida State, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh, Citadel. They didn't even have to play. They didn't have to play Miami. They didn't even have to play Syracuse.
Didn't say it wasn't. I'm just saying Texas doesn't exactly have a marquee.
But Texas plays in the SEC. If you can, granted, Texas can play
Florida without a quarterback. Vanderbilt, okay, whatever. Kentucky.
All right, Jason. So the ACC is better than the SEC.
That's not what I'm saying, Alex. I never said that.
So we're talking about an easy SEC schedule versus an easy ACC schedule. Texas played a harder schedule, and they're a better football team.
Hey, does Texas have a win as good as beating SMU?
Oh yeah. I don't think SMU's that good.
Okay.
So the SMU win's more impressive to you than maybe the A&M win, Jason?
Yeah, I think SMU would throttle A&M. A&M's a bad football team with no offense. SMU would beat A&M on a neutral field. Yeah.
Do you think Michigan would beat Ohio State?
Okay. Point taken. No, I don't think so. That was a one-off, but yes.
Well, okay. I'm just saying.
Michigan's not a good football team, if that's the argument you're trying to make. But yeah, certainly didn't see that coming.
So, Alex, in your point of view, you look at this as I don't know. We'll do predictions next week, right?
Yeah.
You see this as 7-point win.
I think this is going to be. I don't know. I think it'll be a game where once Texas gets to where Texas needs to be, it'll be a spot where they'll actually be able to run the ball on these guys. Unlike Georgia, Georgia's got the skeleton key against the Texas run game. I wrote about it in my column yesterday. It's just, I mean, Clemson's not equipped to do it in the same way. Arizona State's not equipped to do it in the same way. So I think that bodes well for Texas if they can get through here. Now, granted, I do think that, you know, I've just always thought whenever you get into these elimination game scenarios, you always think about, like, and far be it for me to ever act like I know anything about basketball, right? But you would think that if you know, whenever I put in my brackets and stuff, I'm always looking and saying, like, all right, well, who's the point guard or who's the distributor for this team? Do they have a guy that's a baller that can elevate the others and stuff? And well, I don't think the Cade Klubnik is you know, love him as far as just being a Westlake guy and stuff, but I don't think he's just a magnificent quarterback. There were times last year where, you know, he wasn't even playing and stuff. And, you know, I think he's been better this year, and he looks like a guy who's capable of elevating others. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that he'll come and play well, but I do think in a spot like this where he's kind of coming home, there's a little bit of motivation there and stuff. I at least think he's a relatively dangerous quarterback, probably one of the better quarterbacks Texas has faced. So that worries you a tiny little bit. Mm-hmm. But I think Texas offensively, man, they have so much to atone for after that Georgia game. And it feels like they're going to come into this one ready to go, and we'll see a little bit more of the Texas that we saw in the games versus, you know, Florida or, you know, this kind of stuff. I think Clemson is an inferior opponent. What were they ranked to be able to get this? Were they ranked number 16 or something whenever they finally made the playoff?
Yeah, 15 or 16 something. And then the spread is back up to 11, by the way, so it did go back up. So
yeah. So I think that. I think Texas rolls here, and so whenever we get into the prize picks and stuff, they don't have any up that are, you know, they only have the ones that are the Red Devils and the touchdown stuff right now, so we don't have as much to talk about. I do think next week when they start getting things real dialed in, and the cool thing is, you know, Anwar, next week, and Jason, you know this too, with as much prize picks degeneracy as you like to take on. For games like this, where it's like big games, like, you know, college football playoff and Super Bowl and stuff, they're going to have a wide menu of options. They're going to, you'll be able to put in entries on all kinds of stuff. And I'll really like, just like this last week, man, I think I'm really going to like any Matthew Golden Moores, or, you know, any Matthew Golden stuff. I'm going to like any Trey Wisner stuff, I think, just as far as his rushing attempts. And I'm just going to have to pick something on the other side to pair with it. But I think that's the way that I'm thinking. I think Texas gets up on them, and then I think they just try and take the air out of the football. And they're going to give Trey Wisner probably 17, 18 rush attempts will be his projection on prize picks, and I think it goes more than that. Jason,
offensively, where's your level of concern? Well, obviously Isaiah Bond is still recovering from his ankle injury. Kelvin Banks is still recovering from his ankle injury. If they had to play today, they wouldn't be able to play. You saw an offensive line that didn't have their best day, but Georgia for whatever reason just has Texas's number. We've seen it twice this year. We saw drops in that game that were somewhat uncharacteristic of these receivers. We saw a run game that just was never really able to take off. Just going into it, what's your level of concern of where the offense is going into that Clemson game?
It's a good question. We're still, almost a week and a half away. I'd say this offense just seems different without Isaiah Bond playing at 100%. Now, will he be anywhere close to 100%? I don't know. I would think probably not, considering, like you said, you reported on where he couldn't. If they were playing today, he wouldn't be playing. So, that'd be a pretty miraculous recovery to be 100% for the game. But he just adds such an explosive dynamic that this offense seems to be lacking. I mean, Matthew Bolden's been really good, or Golden, excuse me, has been really good and stepped up lately. But I don't know. There is a level of concern. I mean, someone in the chat said this offense hasn't been consistent in a month. And I mean, if you look at the schedule, yeah, Texas, blew the doors off of Kentucky and probably could have scored more. But you go back to that Arkansas game, Texas A&M game, obviously Georgia. I mean, no, this offense hasn't played particularly well. So they've been able to run it other than Georgia when they wanted to. Will they be able to do that against Clemson? We'll see. But yeah, I think there's a legitimate level of concern. Okay, is this offense, if this game turns into some sort of shootout, which I don't really foresee with the Texas defense, but is the offense, if Texas is down and needs a big drive to win the game, do you have confidence in the offense going 70 yards for a touchdown? I don't know, man. This offense has been pretty inconsistent. I'm looking as we're talking. It's ironic. Like Klubnik and Quinn Ewers are pretty similar. Quinn has a 148.1 rating. Klubnik is at 148.6. Now, Klubnik also rushed for 458 yards, so you've got to account for that. But Klubnik 3,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. I mean, he was pretty efficient, really. But yeah, to your point, Omar, what's my level of concern with the offense? I'd say like a 5.5, maybe. I'm not. I don't think it's. I mean, we know what this offense is capable of. But I'm like, okay, when are we going to see it? And when are we going to see it consistently? We've seen too many games, or at least halves, maybe second halves, where this offense has just gone into a shell. And I do think Isaiah Bond being injured and out has been a huge part of that. I think this offense really misses him. So I'll be interested to see what his status is come next week.
Alex, same question for you. What's your level of concern as relates to? I know I heard what you said, but I just want to kind of throw some of the other things, factors that are out there with the injury on the offensive line, Bond, the drops that we saw, and again the run game. Like where you're at?
Well, I mean, we've seen it twice now with Georgia. It's like, man, whenever Sark says that, he started saying probably a month ago, 5 weeks ago onward about how things weren't right with the timing with the outside zone, and they were just feeling like coming into the A&M game that they had finally got it rolling with their landmarks, with the cutback lanes, with the tight ends, the running backs, the offensive line, all being on the same page, right? And he said that was so important because so many other runs and so many other plays, really, there are other like RPOs attached, and they're attached to the outside zone game. And so if you look at what happened in this game, if you look at the 21, I think it was 21 designed runs that weren't called back for penalties weren't called on, and that weren't like quarterback scrambles by Quinn. They ran outside zone 8 times. They ran like power gap and counter 9 times. They ran inside zone 3 times, and they had one that was like a draw concept. And so on the outside zone plays that everything's supposed to be built off of, right? It's the outside zone stuff that killed this game. They had out of those 8 snaps, there were 5 TFLs on 5 of 8 of them. Whereas, as far as the grades for the players for their execution of the scheme, 6 of 8 they graded out negatively with at least one player. 0 of 8 graded positively. Whereas, the power gap counter stuff, it wasn't perfect. They had 2 TFLs off of that. Too many TFLs in this game, man. But 5 of the 9 at least graded out positively. And when they ran inside zone, they all graded out positively. It was the outside zone stuff that everything's built off of that was killing them. And I see. So Vance Bedford saying the same thing. Well, that's what it is. And Vance Bedford would know an outside zone as a defense, if you can get penetration upfield through the play side, the play side shoulder of the man that you're engaged with, what you're going to do is you force an early cutback. And that's what Georgia's so uniquely prepared to do this. And what they do is they have big physical dudes, and they have dudes who are twitched up, and they have dudes who are explosive, and they penetrate up through your play side shoulder. They make Trey Wisner cut back early, and they have good attacking linebackers that sit at home, and they come fill the backside cutback lanes. and nothing ever works. It just doesn't work. You get nothing going. And if everything, as Sark says, I don't understand how all the other runs are attached to this, But if all the other runs are attached to it, it feels like there's been a sort of like a skeleton key that Georgia sort of had, because I haven't seen other teams that are as equipped to do it. And we talk about Texas A&M's their defensive front, and to me, just Georgia's is so much better. Either that or that three-headed brain trust that they have with Kirby and with Muschamp, and I forget the name. What's the name of the other guy, Jason? What's the other guy's name? I forget.
I was doing like three things at once. Who are we talking about? Sorry.
That third defensive coach at Georgia. Somebody in the chat doesn't know it.
I remember Muschamp. I don't remember who.
They show him on the sidelines. I think those three guys just kind of know how to dial it up. They're smart. I don't think that these other teams are equipped. I mean, Arizona State certainly isn't. I don't think that Clemson is. I think they're a little bit more talented with their defensive front. So I think that I don't think that it's going to be the same kind of issue. I do think if they face Georgia again, that they have a Georgia issue. But dude, even as bad as that was last week, for some reason, Anwar, to answer your question, I'm really not that worried. I've seen the way that they looked versus A&M, and I just think that the fact that we've seen this versus Georgia now twice makes it I mean, Vance Bedford and I are kind of. I think we kind of see this the same.
Yeah. You don't think Clemson is as good, Jason, as far as the defensive thing? I mean, if that's the case, and we'll get into the prize picks thing in a second, hasn't then at the end of the day, didn't Georgia basically just give Clemson kind of the blueprint on what it takes, or is it just not that easy?
Because you gotta have the athletes do it too,
Correct.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I've watched a lot of Clemson football, but they kept South Carolina in check. I did watch that SMU game, the championship game, and I wouldn't say I was overwhelmed by their defense in watching that game. I thought SMU moved the ball pretty effectively. But, held Pittsburgh to 20, held South Carolina to 17. Virginia Tech, they held to 14. So I mean, I haven't really started to break down that game yet, Omar, but the little bit I saw them in their most recent game, they're definitely susceptible. I mean, I think Texas should be able to move the ball, but I just don't know how much faith I have in this Texas offense. I mean, again, if they can get Isaiah Bond back, I think that gives them a huge boost. But this isn't a Texas offense that's raced up and down the field against. That A&M defense, let's not kid ourselves. It's not a great defense. It's not statistically a great defense. Arkansas is not a great defense, and Georgia's a good defense. But this Texas offense hasn't marched up and down the field, against some pretty mediocre defenses of late. So, we'll see. It'll be an interesting game. And again, I'm going to pick Clemson to win. I'm going to pick Texas to win, Clemson to cover. Would I pick 11 points? Seems like a lot with this Texas offense. I mean, I don't know. Is this, I'll reserve the right to change my opinion and as I break down the matchups, but is this what's reasonable for this Texas offense against really any team? 27 points. That would mean you have to hold Clemson to 16. It's possible, but I like this around 30 to maybe 21, 24 type games. So, but yeah, I keep going back to the offense. Yes, I think there's a legitimate reason for concern in this game. Arizona State moderately, but certainly if you can get past those two.
Alex, why don't you navigate us through the prize picks? They already have some stuff that is up. So what are you seeing there, Alex? And we have some early prize picks entries here.
Okay, hold on. So for Texas, this is all we got. This is the menu for now. So it looks like it's just a touchdown thing for now. It looks like they have.
Let's take down this overlay too, Alex.
Oh, can you handle it?
Let me find it.
Okay, so I don't know, man. With the touchdowns. So they're saying that the projection for more than 2.5 for Quinn is going to be coming in super hot for that, but they're saying there'll be less of a payout for the over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I don't think that I would take that 1.5 if I'm not getting the standard payout on it, right? I think that that's more interesting to me.
Like explain that to the person who maybe didn't know what that meant, Alex.
Okay, well, so you see right here, I'm hovering over Quinn Ewers, right? And next to him, he's got this little red devil. They all have these red devils, right? But here, what you can do is you can navigate to say, I'd like to change that projection to 1.5 passing touchdowns to from 2.5. So it's saying for this Green Goblin, what that means is that, let's say that if you were to put in an entry with Quinn Ewers and another player, generally with a normal projection, you will have, gosh, this Jaden Blue one's freaking me out. We can talk about that in a second. But with this green one, your payout would generally be like 3x. So if you put in $20 on it and you say, okay, I think Quinn Ewers is going to have more than 1.5 passing touchdowns, and I also think the Cade Klubnik's going to have more than 1.5 or something, right? That you'd say that would make you $60, right? You get 3x. But if you were to make that a red devil play and say he's going to go over 2.5, then they would pay you out like 4.5x. So you would turn 20 into like $90, right? If you make it 1.5, it wouldn't pay you out 3x. It would pay you like 2.5x. You would make $50, if that makes sense. So this is an easier projection to hit. You get paid less. This is a harder projection to hit. You get paid more. So since I'm getting paid less on this 1.5, I think 1.5 passing touchdowns for Quinn is right. And so since I'm getting paid less, I'm probably not going to take that. This one to me seems crazy that Jaden Blue to get a touchdown is a Green Goblin. That should be a red devil.
Yeah, I agree, but you can't. I would take the less on that, but it's not available. It's
You're not allowed to take the less, but they're saying it's
yeah.
So
I'm not touching that one. The fact that Wisner's got the same projection, right? Wisner's 0.5. I'm taking Wisner to find the end zone over Jaden Blue, or Matthew Golden's a red devil.
I think, dude, Golden's the nuts there for that one.
Yeah, the Golden's the pick, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, because he's the dude. I'm telling you, man, Golden's going to go. He's going to have to go pro, right?
Yeah.
Although, gosh, Golden hasn't had a touchdown since the Arkansas game, guys.
Well, but he did but he's had a couple. I can think of at least one end zone target last week.
We had that one that kind of went right through his hands.
Yeah, but and then you could think during the end, whenever Quinn was playing that stupid battleship football where he's just throwing things up and hoping they land somewhere good. I forgot whether he had a target on one of those, but those were all basically uncatchable there towards the end of the game.
We're making fun of that. Jaden Blue scored. He scored against A&M and Kentucky, so he did not score against Georgia. But
yeah, but that's just one of these things where, Jason, we know better than the projection, and they're just looking at that. That's the thing that they're looking at. They're not looking at the massive downtrend in usage that we've been able to recognize. So I think that's terrible. I think I would rather pick Arch with that red devil next to him to score a touchdown.
And Wisner hasn't scored since Kentucky. So of all those, we're bashing on Jaden Blue. He has scored more recently than Golden and Wisner. That's surprising to me. I just wouldn't have guessed that off the top of my head.
Yeah. So, I mean, not too much on the menu just yet. I will also mention that I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but man, down the stretch in that game, they really were trying to get Ryan Wingo the ball in a lot of those situations down by the end zone.
That was after Isaiah Bond went out, though. So, I mean.
Right, but if we're expecting Bond to, I mean.
Yeah, it kind of depends on his availability, but yeah.
They definitely like Wingo as a target down there. So, I don't know, man. Like I said.
Hey, Alex, if you just had $20 and you were just going to say, you know what, to hell with it, give me 3 Red Devils that you would play. Obviously, you can't do all Texas guys, right? But so let's assume there's a Steph Curry, he makes 0.5, right? So
there is a free one on Mahomes, by the way.
There is one. There's a Patrick Mahomes right here in NFL.
There you go. So let's say if you had to do a Patrick Mahomes one, so that's a free play basically, and 3 Texas Red Devils. Which 3 would you take?
Man, I might take Bird. I know everybody hates Bird Auburn, but he's probably gonna kick 2 field goals in this game.
That would be one of mine.
I'm not taking Quinn over 2.5 passing touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I don't. Is there not a Wisner rushing touchdown here?
You have to bump it up to 1.5. Well, rushing, receiving touchdowns to get the Red Devil.
Oh. I mean, all right. I'm taking Auburn. So see, since that's a Red Devil, it bumps me up to 4x instead of 3x. And then, I get. Isn't DeAndre Moore going to keep scoring touchdowns? I don't know, man.
He's still battling that turf toe thing, but week off might help.
I would pick Golden.
Mm-hmm.
I pick Golden. So that would be if all three of those, that's actually a pretty good payout. 9x.
Yeah.
Especially when you know that the Mahomes one is free. I'm still keeping that Mahomes one in my pocket though. For this weekend, I'm certainly not going to put in this entry. I don't like these bets, but I think I would take them. I think we're going to be able to get something a whole lot better as we get sort of closer to the game. Cade Klubnik, look at this. So his Red Devil is over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Wow.
I mean, if I was he's gonna throw a touchdown at DKR, where he played a playoff game in high school. Is Dabo won't quit talking about. The only game he's ever seen at DKR was the one that he went to come see Cade at. Did Jason, you said you watched this game. It looked like Bryant Wesco, I think he had a pretty good game. So he had 2 touchdowns versus SMU. Looked like he broke out a little bit. And Antonio Williams, though, has been their kind of star receiver for most of the year. I don't know if you have a thought between those two or maybe on Cade, if we're having to pick a Clemson guy. He's going to throw a pick.
Well, that's not a Red Devil, but yeah, he's
definitely going to throw an interception.
Yeah.
I'd take the Bird Auburn on the Texas ones. I would take the Golden receptions. You know what, the third one, I don't love it, but the third one, I would take Arch Manning. I could see him getting a goal line package and, getting a short touchdown run.
He's been set up to get touchdowns each of the last 2 weeks. He's gotten the ball in those spots.
You're asking me to take 3 Red Devils? Yeah, those are probably the ones I'd take. So.
If they wouldn't have called the timeout on that, was that the first play of overtime that Arch came out and they called the timeout on him?
No, he came out first play of overtime and ran that 5-yard run,
which was like their best run of the game, basically. But there was the one time that he came in too, and they called the timeout. I guess it wasn't an overtime.
Oh, that's right. And then they went back to Quinn, right?
But then after the timeout, they came back to Quinn. But that was like on the 10-yard line. So I mean, they have been using him down there. I don't know, man. Like I don't know what to say. I know it's a Prize Pick show, and we got to do it, and we got to provide the analysis, but right now I don't love any of these plays. I'm going to love them more next week.
Yeah, the thing is, guys, there'll be more entries that Prize Picks puts up next week.
Oh, they're going to say what color what color Gatorade is Matthew Golden going to be sipping and stuff. Like it's going to be a lot of stuff. Just because there aren't as many games. I can't believe it, guys. I was thinking. Just earlier today, is Army Navy the only college football game that we get on Saturday?
I believe so. Yes.
Gosh.
No, I feel like check Prize Picks, Alex. I think there was something else I saw. Something direct. I felt like there was something directional or something. Is that?
I feel like we're.
Yeah. What's that WMC?
Western, I don't know what that is.
I don't even know. We'll see. That's not going to feel like football. But then again, we'll be dying to watch WMC, whatever that is,
versus SAB. What the hell is? What game is this?
Saginaw Valley or something. I can look it up. I have a
we are in degenerate phase, and we're looking at Kenneth Womack's numbers, and we're like, I mean, look at all the people who are playing with Kenneth Womack. Well, not a lot, actually.
No, so Saturday. No, it's just
Montana
Jackson
State,
State,
Idaho.
Western
that's
Michigan versus South Alabama at 8 p.m. Jackson State versus South Carolina State at 11 a.m. And then after that, we do have Division I, AA, and Division II and Division III playoffs on Saturday. Stuff like South Dakota, North Dakota State, all that stuff. And I mean,
yeah. What is WM? What is it? WM.
Michigan,
Western Michigan
Western
versus
Michigan.
South Alabama.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, not great. We gonna get our first little taste of what it's gonna feel like once we get into NFL draft season and spring football, where we don't have stuff to watch on the weekends. So yeah, man, I think that's the. Do you guys have anything from NFL that you like tonight?
No, but I like that. Patrick Mahomes more than half yard. I'm going to play that one for sure.
That's going to be paired with something.
I think that. I think that. So in our simulation model that we have, it really likes, as far as this game, the highest confidence of the week that it has as far as projected win probability for this game tonight is is Kyron Williams on here for under 2.5 receptions? For some reason, it loves that. Kyron. 2.5 receptions. Oh, they have a red devil on it. It's swindling us. So we can't take they've got us where we can only take the more. So Prize Picks knows something about that too. Golly. 2.5 receptions. Let's see if there's another one here that it likes, because these are just general props. It likes Kyron Williams under 72.5 rushing yards too. What do they have him at here?
73.5.
73.5. Looks like that's a popular one. So maybe I would like that. And then on the San Francisco side, I haven't really thought. Do we know whether or not do they have any stuff for Isaac Guerrero? Yeah, so they think Isaac Guerrero is going to go. Do you guys think he'll be healthy enough to get 60? I mean, it feels like he smashed this last week. I wonder if he'll be 78, because he didn't really smash it. He just did a little bit. I would worry about that receiving one, because he had that one big catch last week. I don't know, man. I have a tough time reading this game. I think I like the more stuff on the Juwan Jennings. I think for Deebo Samuel, I think he'll continue to kind of struggle.
Yeah, Debo's. I was looking at him. He hadn't even come close to his number the last 4 weeks or something. So.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's.
I'll take Stafford more than 243.5.
What are the Sims 245? The Sims that we have here say they like the under on that one. Hard slate, man. So it's a hard Prize Picks day all around, guys. I think it's just like nothing.
That I love in San Francisco. I was thinking it was in Los
nothing
Angeles.
that I love popping up on the board. But the good news is we'll get more projections as the week goes by, and we'll have a better idea of everything as we get to next Saturday. But in the meantime, there's plenty of other stuff to play. A big NFL slate this weekend, and could probably go to Army Navy stuff, and I don't know, probably take all of the rushing mores. Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get out of here. Remember, play $5, get $50 instantly. Use the promo code Orange Bloods. Alex has guaranteed you winners, and he says if you don't win based off of what his projections are, he will 100% refund you. No, he did not say that. But you guys, we'll be back obviously next week with more Prize Picks. It will be fully loaded, as Alex has said and predicted. So get ready for that. We will have House Divided at noon. So stay tuned for that. And of course, 6 o'clock, it's Cody and Alex doing the damn thing as they always do. So get ready for that. You guys take care. Peace.